They called her Sleeping Beauty. High on the slopes of Mount Everest, at over 8,300 meters, lies the body of a woman. So peaceful, so still, that climbers for decades have mistaken her for someone merely resting. But she never woke up. Her name was Frances Arsentieff, and her story is one of love, courage, and the terrible price of chasing the top of the world. The dream of an American woman. Frances wasn't a professional mountaineer. She was a quiet woman from Hawaii, a mother, a wife, and an adventurer at heart. In the 1990s, she and her husband, Sergei Arsentieff, shared a single dream: to make history. They wanted to become the first American couple to reach the summit of Everest without supplemental oxygen. No bottled air, just raw human will against the deathly thin atmosphere. It was a goal few dared to attempt, because above 8,000 meters, oxygen levels drop so low that every step feels like dragging your body through fire. Still, Frances believed she could do it. The climb begins. In May 1998, they set off from the north face of Everest, a brutal, windy route from Tibet. They climbed slowly, carefully, resting at every camp, trying to let their bodies adjust. But the mountain had other plans. High winds delayed their summit push. Oxygen deprivation began to affect Frances. She moved more slowly, spoke less, and her face was pale under the frozen wind. Yet, on May 22nd, after days of struggle, Frances and Sergei finally reached the summit of Everest. They had done it. History made. But that victory was only half the story. The descent into darkness. As night fell, clouds rolled in and visibility dropped. The temperature plunged to -40 degrees Celsius. Exhausted and disoriented, the couple lost their way during the descent. They became separated in the blinding storm. Sergei managed to reach a lower camp, hoping Frances was right behind him. But she wasn't. When he realized she hadn't returned, he did the unthinkable. He climbed back up the mountain alone in search for his wife. Hours turned into days. Found by strangers. The next morning, other climbers ascending Everest made a shocking discovery. Lying motionless near the ridge was a woman, barely alive, her face frostbitten, her skin pale like porcelain. It was Frances. She whispered faintly, asking for water, gasping for breath in the airless cold. The climbers tried to help her, but at that altitude, even lifting a hand feels like moving a mountain. Carrying her down was impossible. They gave her oxygen, covered her with blankets, and said prayers. But the mountain's grip was too strong. Frances Arsentieff took her last breath beneath the endless Himalayan sky. The husband who never came back. Later that day, another climber saw something on the ridge, a figure moving slowly upward through the wind. It was Sergei. He had come back for her. No one knows exactly what happened next, but Sergei never returned to camp. Days later, his body was found lower on the mountain, still tied to his climbing rope. He had fallen to his death while trying to save the woman he loved. Two dreamers, bound by love, claimed by Everest. The frozen legend, Sleeping Beauty. For years afterward, Frances's body remained where she died, lying peacefully on the icy slope, her face serene, framed by the mountain's eternal snow. Climbers who passed by called her the Sleeping Beauty of Everest. She became both a warning and a symbol of human ambition and of the fragile line between courage and tragedy. In 2007, nearly 10 years later, an expedition led by climber Ian Woodall returned to the spot. They covered Frances's body with an American flag and laid her to rest away from the main route, granting her the peace she had long been denied. The lesson beneath the ice. Frances Arsentief's story isn't just about death, it's about devotion. She reached higher than most of us ever will, but her greatest legacy isn't the summit she touched, it's the love that drove her there, and the sacrifice that followed. Every climber who passes that place now looks at the mountain differently. They remember her and the cost of chasing dreams among the clouds. Because on Everest, even beauty can sleep forever. The mountain that remembers. Mount Everest stands silent, watching, waiting. It takes without mercy and gives without promise. Yet every soul who dares to climb it leaves a mark, not written in footprints, but in memory. Frances Arsentief became more than a climber. She became a story the mountain will never forget. The Sleeping Beauty of Everest.